Hey guys, Paul Shirey with JoBlo.com here at CinemaCon in Las Vegas, and just got out of the Sony panel presentation, and it was pretty cool. There was a lot of stuff that we saw. Some of it is relevant, some of it's not so relevant, at least to us. So I'm going to hit the cool stuff that we liked, or that we thought was really cool, and we're going to skip some of the other boring stuff. So let's get into it. First thing we saw that was really, really cool, for those of us that like Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, we have Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly's Holmes and Watson. Basically, the gang's back together. Shake and bake. It's the good stuff.
Shake and bake.
I can't really elaborate too much more on that. It's comedy if you like these guys. The British accents, and like playing it straight, more or less. So they're not really in on the joke, which makes it more fun, of course. So it looks really good. It was just a very small little bit, but enough that if you're fans of those guys, you're going to like it. So count on that. Mark your calendars. Now, the other one we saw that I thought was pretty cool and looks really interesting is White Boy Rick. Now, this is the new one with Matthew McConaughey, and it's based on a true story. Yet another kind of drug smuggling, rising into the underworld and becoming a kingpin and a badass and all that other stuff. It looks a lot like Blow or American Made. You know, basically it's almost like a new format, like the true story drug movie thing. But that doesn't mean it doesn't look good. It does look good. And Matthew McConaughey has a great mullet. So if you like mullets and drug dealing, White Boy Rick is for you. So the other thing we saw that was really cool was an extended preview for Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. This is the animated version of Spider-Man with Miles Morales. Now, Miles Morales is the Spider-Man from the Ultimate Universe, who is now in Marvel 616, even though it's not quite Marvel 616 anymore. So if you're confused, that's okay, because so am I. The animation really does look like something special. It really does look like something new, something cool, fresh, original, whatever keyword you want to use. It looks good, bottom line. In the clip, it was not a finished trailer, so a lot of the animations were not finished. Some were, and the stuff that was looked spectacular. But basically, the premise that we saw didn't go too far into the story, but it shows basically that Ultimate Spider-Man Peter Parker at age 26 dies, just like he does in the comics. But then we see Miles Morales visiting his grave, and he runs into an older Peter Parker. So, which is a Peter Parker from another dimension, multiverse, Spiderverse, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, that Spider-Man, that Peter Parker is not necessarily overweight per se, but they show him as kind of like pudgy or just out of shape, and he's like just mawing down on a burger and, you know, just not kind of like the smart, whip-smart, cool Peter Parker we know. A little bit different. However, we did get a sneak peek at some of the villains that were in there, and we saw a Kingpin, the Ultimate version Green Goblin, and the Prowler. So it looks like we're going to see, at a minimum, we're going to see those three guys in the movie. How big of a role they play isn't really alluded to. We all know that the Prowler is related to Miles Morales in the comics. Spoilers. Don't get mad at me. Could be a really good Spider-Man flick for Christmas. When you think Christmas, you think Spider-Man. That was stupid. So another one we saw is I guess kind of a sequel to the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Now, we all know that David Fincher did the original one. We had Rooney Mara, and you had James Bond in it. But this one has a totally new cast. This one has Claire Foy as Lisbeth Salander, and it's directed by Fede Alvarez. Now, Fede Alvarez you'll know from Don't Breathe and the Evil Dead remake. A phenomenal filmmaker. I absolutely love his style, and if there's anybody that's going to take on or take the mantle from David Fincher, I feel like Fede Alvarez is a great choice. So we did get a couple other announcements. Tom Rothman was on stage with presenting for Sony, and he did drop a few little news tidbits. He said that the Spider-Man Homecoming sequel is in development and is looking for a July, I can't remember if he said 2019 or 2020. We'll clarify, don't worry, but it's going to be in a July soon. So the other news came that Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, is getting a sequel. So I guess this would be a part 3, technically, if we're following the Jumanji expanded universe timeline franchise thing. Anyways, biggest moneymaker for Sony ever, of course, is going to get a sequel, and Tom Rothman said that it is coming out in Christmas 2019. So not too far off, year and a half away. Better start shooting. Just saying.
Now we're oh my God!
So by now you've probably watched that Venom trailer about 4 or 5 times, maybe 20. It does look pretty cool. That is the teaser we wanted to see when they initially released the first one. Just being able to see Venom at the end, it's like Sony got the memo. It's like they released the test trailer, the test teaser first, even though they didn't mean to, and now they released the one that they like screen tested to make sure that, hey, we put Venom in there. So that makes a world of difference. So, I mean, you probably already made up your mind at this point, having seen the trailer, what you think. Tom Hardy came out and he was super excited about making the film, and he said that basically he wanted to make a Venom film, or make a film that his son could watch. Also wanted to play Venom because he's super badass, but ultimately his main purpose for taking on the Venom role was to make a movie that his son could watch. Because who doesn't want to watch like a scary monster with big teeth and a tongue? Like, that's a very Tom Hardy thing to say. I want to watch a Venom movie with my kid. Super cool. Yeah, it's amazing. All right, so the last thing that we saw for the Sony presentation, the mic drop moment, if you will, was Quentin Tarantino and Leonardo DiCaprio taking the stage to talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is Tarantino's next film, which will also co-star Brad Pitt.
Sound good? Yes, sir!
So we've heard a lot of rumors about this, that it's going to be about the Sharon Tate murders, all this different stuff. They didn't give a lot of information out, but Tarantino did say that it is about the counterculture revolution in Hollywood in 1969. So you have a setting and you have a little bit of a feeling, and he did mention kind of like the hippie stuff that was going on during that time. So wouldn't be surprised if this is a very psychedelic Tarantino movie. And what the hell that means and what it's going to become, I don't know, but it is Tarantino, and he just does not make bad films, even if there's one that you don't really like. He also said that it's coming out in August 2019. Now that's not too far away, folks. So, and they haven't shot a frame of footage yet. So they need to get cracking, because, I don't know, I'm a little nervous now. I hope they make that date. I'm sure they will. It's Tarantino. He knows what he's doing, right? Right? He knows what he's doing.
Yes!
So that's it for Sony. We've got lots more presentations to cover here at CinemaCon 2018. Lots more footage, interviews, reactions, news. So keep an eye on JoBlo.com and keep your eye here, and we'll have more coming your way. I always feel like I should smile. See ya. Thanks for coming.